Have you heard of West Hollywood and are thinking of maybe moving there but don't really know if you should? Well, in this video I'm going over the 5 pros and 5 cons of living in West Hollywood. How are we doing today, guys? My name is Darren Kriz. I'm a local real estate agent, born and raised out here, helping people every single day buy, sell, and invest in property out here in the greater Los Angeles area. So if that's you or someone you know, reach out to me. My information is down below. On this channel, we post all informational videos about anything Los Angeles. If you want to know more about a specific city, let me know in the comments. So this one is specifically about West Hollywood, known for the entertainment industry, having a lot of boutique hotels, resort style hotels even, a nightlife that is just unmatched with anywhere else. And it's slowly grown to having just about 40,000 or so local residents. But let's start off with the cons so we can get real, and I know people like to hear the cons first. So number one for the cons is that it's expensive. This one might have been the obvious one to you. Obviously, West Hollywood's gonna be expensive. It is smack in the middle of Beverly Hills and Hollywood. So if you're living between all of these super well-known cities, you're gonna have to pay a premium. In West Hollywood, 19% of residents actually own their homes, whereas about 81% are renting. One of the reasons is because the high price of home values. The average cost of a home in West Hollywood is about $2.3 million currently, while the average price of a 1-bedroom apartment is around $2,200 a month. Another thing that's a little more expensive is the food, and that is not including the nice restaurants in the area, and there are a lot of them. I'll touch on those a little bit later, but if you just want to get a local lunch at your favorite salad bar, a salad, I wouldn't be surprised if it cost you $15 to $20. Or if you want to get a sandwich, it's gonna be around the same price. Like I said, any expensive city is going to come with its perks and its reasons. Of course, West Hollywood is known for having celebrities and people all over the world come for its networking purposes. Many people live here in multi-million-dollar mansions for decades and decades. The history behind West Hollywood is insane. But many residential neighborhoods in WeHo, you're gonna see a modern home mixed in with a Spanish duplex, then a modern home, Spanish duplex. There's a lot of character to a lot of these streets out here. They're definitely not your old cookie cutter communities that you might see elsewhere. All right, expense is obvious. If you wanna save a little bit more money, you probably shouldn't live in West Hollywood. But let's go on to con number 2, and that is that it is crowded. So West Hollywood is not the largest city in LA, but it is one of the more crowded cities. There are many apartment buildings in residential neighborhoods, so you're gonna see people at any hour of the day just out walking their dog, going on a run. Obviously the healthy lifestyle, and it's a beautiful weather just about every day out here. So people are gonna take advantage of that. But as you see a lot of people walking and running, you're gonna see a lot of people driving as well. So don't be surprised if 2 miles up La Cienega is gonna take you about 15 to 20 minutes if you're going from Beverly all the way up to the Sunset Strip. Sometimes you're gonna be waiting for a bit at those red lights. Another thing that happens when it is crowded is that it gets harder to park. It is highly suggested to Uber many places, especially to restaurants, because parking can be a bit tough, but it's a good thing they offer valet at many of these restaurants as well, because they know the parking situations are rough out here. Many of the residential streets also do require you have a parking permit, which will cost you about $35 a year, so it's really not too much. There are also a lot of street meters for parking, but I would suggest that you pay those street meters and you park at your own risk if the meter's empty, because West Hollywood probably has some of the best parking enforcement people that I've ever seen. It's happened to me on more than one occasion where I will just stop for 5 minutes to pick up some food and I'll look at my car and I'll have a ticket. It happens a lot out here. I've probably gotten over a dozen tickets in just the past couple years alone. I probably blame myself on a lot of those, but you know, you live and you learn. Okay, so the third con I would have to say is that West Hollywood might be a little too central. If you do live in West Hollywood, you are going to be maybe 20 minutes to the closest freeway. You got the 101 to the east through Hollywood, you got the 405 to the west through Beverly Hills, then if you go all the way down La Cienega, down south, you'll run into the 10. But it's going to take you 15 to 20 minutes to get to any of these freeways. And if you want to get to the valley through West Hollywood, you have to cut up through the hills through Laurel Canyon. If you need to get anywhere such as Santa Monica or downtown, it's going to take you a minute, so you're going to have to block off several hours of your day if you're planning on going outside of the city. But West Hollywood does have everything that you would potentially need on your day-to-day basis, which is why it's such a great city and you pretty much do not need to leave. Now on to the pros of West Hollywood. Let's get on to the good stuff. The number one pro of West Hollywood's gotta be the entertainment. West Hollywood is one of the most famous and historic cities in the entire world, with dozens and dozens of movies surrounding the streets of West Hollywood, which is why many people also move here, which makes it pretty congested. But if I'm listing a couple places, you have concert venues such as the Troubadour, Whiskey A Go-Go, the Roxy Theater. You can catch a comedy show at the Hollywood Improv, the Comedy Store, or the Coronet Theater. Go out to party at clubs such as Nightingale, Hyde, Bootsy Bellows, Poppy, or go to a nice restaurant like Catch Steak. Catch Steak is actually a brand new restaurant right on La Cienega. It is popping right now. Every time I drive down the street, down La Cienega, and pass by Catch Steak, there are so many cars lined up right outside of people waiting to get in, so that is the place you want to be currently. Other restaurants include ones you might have heard of: Delilah, Isabel, Laurel Hardware, Craig's. Then you have old classics. You have Musso and Frank's. You have Dan Tana's. You have the Chateau's restaurant. I mean, I could really just go on and on talking about all the restaurants to go, places to do, things to see out here in West Hollywood, but you might have not even heard of any of those names if you're not from here. And if you are moving to West Hollywood, you're going to want to experience most of these places for yourself, because why else would you be moving to basically the Mecca, the center of the entertainment capital of the world, the middle of West Hollywood? So if you want to look at this on a map, there are pretty much 4 big areas for all of these restaurants and entertainment. You have the Sunset Strip, you have the Sunset Plaza, then you have La Cienega, which is a bigger street that goes north and south, will pretty much take you anywhere. And then you have Santa Monica Boulevard, which there are a lot of bars and restaurants for the LGBT community. And I have personally been to a good amount of these places, so if you need any other recommendations, let me know, reach out to me. My information is in the description. But let's go on to the next pro, and that is West Hollywood is extremely walkable. Now, it might be one of the most walkable cities in all of Los Angeles. I'm sure you've heard that you probably need a car when moving to LA, but West Hollywood, typically you don't really need a car, especially if you're working remote. You can walk almost anywhere. You can easily get from Melrose to Santa Monica Boulevard and up to the Sunset Strip, but the only downfall to it is that it's gonna be a little bit of a hike up the Sunset Strip because it is uphill quite a bit. Everything you wanna do and wanna go on a weekly basis will typically be within a half mile to a mile. And any street you're gonna be walking on, you're gonna see other people walking as well. A lot of people walk their dogs everywhere. Any big street you're gonna be on, such as Melrose, San Vicente, La Cienega, you will see other people and you will run into something new every day. But along with the topic of people walking every day, a healthy LA lifestyle will bring us into pro number 3, and that is lifestyle in general, but a few different things. Parks, weather. West Hollywood, as I said, is known for being a super healthy place, maybe one of the most healthy places in all of LA. When you think of living that LA lifestyle, you might think of West Hollywood, because when people have that stigma of LA people that drink oat milk every day, get acai bowls, get juice smoothies every day, well, you might not be wrong, because in West Hollywood, that is the lifestyle of a lot of people. They try to stay healthy, they try to stay fit and active, which is why you will see a juice shop on pretty much every street. You will be able to get a bonsai bowl at any other street that you'd want a fruit bowl or whatnot. But there are also gyms on every other corner as well. Whatever you're into, working out wise, you got cycle bars, you got CrossFit, you got your regular old franchise gyms as well. But there are also many nice parks in West Hollywood. You have the West Hollywood Dog Park, right between San Vicente and Santa Monica, where I honestly don't even bring my dog there because it is too packed all the time. And my dog would run around and probably bark at the other dog. So I gotta control that. But it is an amazing park. They actually just renovated it over the last year. So that whole area right between the Pacific Design Center and the West Hollywood Dog Park looks amazing. There's also outdoor basketball courts next to that dog park as well. And there's just lots to do, pretty much everything. Other parks, you have Plummer Park, you have Kings Road Park, Pan Pacific Park, which is pretty well known, but it's technically not in West Hollywood. It's about half a mile out of the actual borders of West Hollywood. But the weather out here is pretty much 75 degrees all day, every day. It does get a little colder at night in the winter and a little bit hotter during the day in the summer, but it is also 15 degrees cooler than it would be in the summer in the valley, which is just 15 minutes up Laurel Canyon, as I said. But there it was, guys, 3 pros and 3 cons of living specifically in West Hollywood. Let me know if you guys have any questions at all. Comment below if you've lived here or if you have been to West Hollywood before. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button if you haven't already, if you learned anything. I'm posting videos every single week, multiple videos a week on all things Los Angeles. Let me know what you want to see next. Also subscribe to stay tuned for every video that I am posting. Like I said, my name is Darren Kriz. I am a local real estate agent out here in LA. My team and I help people every single day buy, sell, and invest in property in Los Angeles. My information is down here, right below my fingers right here. Please reach out to me with any questions at all, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.